The fight to protect historic sites across Chicago is making headlines as community leaders are pushing back against a proposal to crack down on what could be called a museum. Two of the sites involved in that conversation are the Phyllis Wheatley home on South Michigan Avenue and Minister Elijah Muhammad's home on South Woodlawn. Wendy Muhammad and Joy Weathers are joining us today to talk about the work they see still needs to be done to protect not just Black history in Chicago, but all historic sites. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's start off by talking about the different homes and why you feel they need to become historic museums. Let's start with Joy first.
Yes, so the Phyllis Wheatley home literally stumbled upon it. This was a home that was a subsidiary of the larger National Association of Colored Women Clubs. It was founded based on Black women responding to the call to show solidarity after 1895, when James Jacks, who is president of a very well-known St. Louis newspaper, took out a full-page ad justifying the lynching and perception, I should say, of Black people as fitting a stereotype of being subhuman. So to see Black women come together in response and to keep these homes all across the country and to provide places for education, to provide places for women to be protected, as well as to better themselves, especially coming from the Great Migration to a big city like Chicago. I think it's a home that definitely stands to serve how we have been dedicated to beautifying our community, to empowering one another, to really being unified since the beginning of time. This isn't something that just happened recently.
Right.
And so to see the home, almost erased.
Right.
It was horrifying.
Yeah.
So, yes, I definitely wanted to help.
Well, Wendy Muhammad is the owner and developer of the Elijah Muhammad House Museum. We should say Elijah Muhammad was the founder of the Nation of Islam, and you have been working on this for a while.
I have been. I've been working on this now for 3 years. And the home is really sacred space, not only because of the great, most honorable Elijah Muhammad and all the history there as the eternal father of the Nation of Islam, but it was a mecca for civil rights leaders and business icons in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s for 3 decades. So I don't think you can name a civil rights leader or an icon that has not been in that space. So when you come there, you will be standing on floors that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King stood on, and Malcolm X, and Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz, Muhammad Ali, Sam Cooke, James Baldwin, Hosea Williams, Senator Adam Clayton Powell, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you name it. I could go on and on. There is so much history in that home.
But there's pushback. There's pushback now. And why do you feel there is pushback?
Honestly, in my opinion, I believe it's religious discrimination. And it's unfortunate because we are diverse as a people, and we all come to the table with different backgrounds. And I think we can learn something from one another when we learn to embrace our differences. And unfortunately, that's just what I think it is. We have so many great plans in place. And of course, as you know, the history of the Nation of Islam, there's no history of violence or disrupting neighborhoods. In fact, we go around and clean up neighborhoods. That's what we're taught.
The fruit
by
of Islam, yes,
Elijah Muhammad.
Definitely. Joy, this home, we've been showing video of it, it's pretty much in tatters. And how has it gotten to that point, and why do you feel people don't help to make this an historic landmark?
Well, first and foremost, the home is still privately owned by Dr. Joanne Tate, who was a beautiful and still is very active within the community. I think definitely this was not something that happened without a lack of reaching out and trying to find different resources to also try and establish the fact that this was a historical site to help with renovation and restoration. And so this is something where it isn't necessarily a fact of, oh, it was just allowed to fall into disrepair. This was something where, a woman raised her family here. She lived here for over 30 years. She definitely had community gardens in the same block in which she really brought the community together and helped children in terms of not only just after school activities, but also understanding vocational skills and preparing them. So I think looking at it, it's a much broader story. But I will say, to see the community rally behind her and to want to support to give it, the restored glory in which it is so justly due. I think that really is where we're trying to focus and make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Do the two of you have hope that these two museums, for lack of a better word, will thrive again, as well as other historic sites in the city and across the nation?
I definitely have hope. We're on the cusp of a Black cultural renaissance in Chicago. Chicago is so rich in history. And of course, as you know, during the Great Migration, we were redlined. So there is going to be a large concentration of historic homes in certain particular areas of the city. And I welcome it. I love to see that we can be a part of changing the headline for Chicago from being the murder capital to the Black cultural capital, where people would love to come here and have day tours and visit all of these beautifully historic spaces.
Yeah. Joy, legislatively, though, something really needs to be done. This is in the 3rd Ward, and just to tell folks, we did reach out to 3rd Ward Alderwoman Sophia King several times for an interview. Her office has not responded. But legislatively, that would make a difference, wouldn't it, Joy?
It definitely would make a difference. I don't know necessarily, and I believe Alderwoman Sophia King of the 4th Ward. I know specifically the Phyllis Wheatley home is within the 3rd Ward with Alderwoman Pat Dow. But in terms of that legislation, it would definitely make it harder for these homes to be in existence. It would make it more strenuous and additional steps that, quite frankly, it's bureaucracy. It's not something that is benefiting the community. And as you just pointed out, a lot of these homes at times have been in different states of disrepair, maybe needing support, right? And so if you already are trying to garner that or figure out ways, to get community involvement, to be supported, that additional step can definitely just kind of leave you at a standstill and not really help with progress. Someone may not know walking past the home that is, run down, that this was a safe place or, a sacred place for the community. And so that's why it's the responsibility of everyone to not prohibit change, but to also be helping and doing what they can in the positions they were elected to really help bring it about.
And Wendy, are there other places in Chicago that we don't know about that need help in that respect?
There are. There's the Muddy Waters House. Chandra Cooper is working on that. You've got the Emmett Till home with Naomi Davis. There's so many other great people. There's the Lou Palmer Mansion. There's the Pullman Porters Museum. Not to mention, there's the Nat King Cole House and the Curtis Mayfield House. And we could go on and on and on, because these people who migrated to Chicago, over 500,000 of our ancestors and relatives that migrated to Chicago, they ended up doing great things and being incredible leaders and icons in our community. And Chicago is on the cusp of this renaissance. And I just hope the city continues to embrace and support that, because we can really change the face of Chicago and enhance the city with this renaissance.
Wendy Muhammad and Joy. Oh, Joy, what's your last name?
Weathers.
Joy Weathers, my bad. Thank you both so much for joining us. So much rich history here in Chicago. Be safe, be well, both of you.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.